For the sake of human survival, Shijia led the zombie king to self-destruct, and his soul was caught up in the chaos of time and space, accidentally bound to the fast-piercing system. As a result, there was an additional tasker in the universe who claimed to be an observer. Below is a brief introduction of No Responsibility System. Host, hurry up, that's the male lead. If you conquer him, you will successfully counterattack. System eyes shining brightly, Shijia, rolling her eyes disdainfully. No, I won't. The system is in a hurry. Host, the male lead strategy difficulty is very low. You can just smile at him and he will succeed. Didn't you say that you love to mess things up the most? Shijia. Yes, who doesn't like to mess things up? System expectations. Shijia looked seriously at the system and said, I'm not here to guide the male lead. You need to be clear about your identity and tasks. System. I am a guide. No, counterattack. The system is not fake, but does the counterattack system have a prescribed way to complete tasks? Did I remember wrong? Shijia remained calm. The system pondered deeply keywords of the novel. Quick where ordinary observer without pop-ups, quick where ordinary observer txt complete collection download, quick where ordinary observer latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Wedge. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Wedge. In the vast universe, there are countless planets scattered, some are reborn, some are already dead, and some are hovering between life and death. Perhaps it could be the last straw that almost killed the camel, or of course it could be a test of rebirth. See Blue Star. Once within the territory of the Song dynasty, a city wall about 100 meters high divided the entire country into two parts. Inside the city wall, there are dense buildings and crowded people. Their faces show sadness and their eyes are fixed on the towering city wall, as if they want to see everything outside the city through the tall wall. Outside the city walls, it feels like hell on earth. Knife and sword shadows fill every corner, the sound of artillery and gunfire jarring in the eardrums. Every second, life is harvested, and every second, there are fierce warriors standing on top. The sound of artillery, gunfire, and cries resound through the sky and earth. It's like this planet is crying. The sky was gloomy, and the clouds were very low, as if they had already pressed against the soldiers who were fighting in the blood. The numb soldiers were suffocated by the pressure. The outcome seems to have been predetermined. The zombie king, sitting firmly behind the army of zombies, was smiling with a determined smile towards the city wall. Its appearance is no longer any different from that of ordinary humans. At this moment, the human camp emitted colorful lights, and with the appearance of these lights, a large area of zombies was destroyed. The zombie king's smile suddenly narrowed, his eyes gloomy. It's really unfair. Why did the god of nature endow the lowly human god genes? With an unpleasant roar, the zombie king shot out of the throne like an arrow from the bow. The next second, the once anxious battlefield turned towards the side of the zombies. As victory approached the zombie camp, a green beam of light flew over the zombie king in an instant. The zombie king looked disdainfully at the woman in front of him who was trying to tie herself up with vines. She looked very good, even in terms of her aesthetic sense of not being able to distinguish beauty from ugliness, she could be considered beautiful. Especially with this energetic body, he felt like swallowing this flesh and blood. Maybe he could break through the limitations of genes, and by then, he would be invincible on this planet. Thinking of this, the zombie king couldn't help but be extremely excited, his gaze towards the woman becoming increasingly hot and his saliva flowing. The scorching gaze of the zombie king and the unusually active mental fluctuations did not affect the woman at all. She focused her gaze on the zombie king who was about to be enveloped by vines in front of her. Just a little short, just wrap the face of the zombie king around it. The woman thought to herself and increased the output of her abilities. It's done. The woman couldn't help but show a smile. The zombie king was startled by this smile and rolled his eyes. Stupid humans wouldn't think these few vines could trap him to death. The zombie king disdainfully scratched the vines that had already wrapped it tightly, something that any second-level zombie could break. These humans wouldn't want him to suffocate and die. It's a zombie. The zombie king is not at all anxious, and even has some leisurely thoughts. The woman didn't care what the zombie king thought. Seeing that the zombie king was completely wrapped up, she didn't relax at all and started implementing the plan directly. I saw the woman kneeling down like flowing clouds and water, holding onto the vine ball that wrapped around the zombie king with one hand and pressing down on the ground with the other. In that moment, the energy began to reverse. The vines pierced at the zombie king, who had always been like a copper wall and an iron wall, but he was easily pierced by the soft vines on his skin. The zombie king was shocked and angry, but the vine that was expected to be broken by the second-order zombie showed no signs of being broken. Damn it, cunning humans! I will never let you go! The zombie king roared, mobilizing his internal energy to attack the vines. The vine ball was attacked by the zombie king and shook like a sieve, even breaking free from the woman's hand, but there was still no sign of it being broken. The vine ball detached from her hand, but the woman did not panic at all. She held the vine in one hand and pressed it against the ground, looking calm and composed. She looked at the towering city wall, which was too high to block the pace of human development and the space for progress on the planet. It was time to demolish it. She looked at her comrades who were staring closely at her again. We need to build our home well. Her voice was hoarse, but it exuded a powerful force like a rainbow, as well as a glimmer of hope for life. Shijia. Shijia, Captain, Jushin. Countless voices rang out simultaneously, with reluctance, and grief. The power had been fully accumulated, and the woman without hesitation began to extract the energy of the zombie king. The energy flowed down the vine and entered her body, The invasion of alien energy causes the woman's body to twitch in pain, but the powerful spiritual power ignores the physical pain and guides this energy strongly, following a specific cycle to transform into rich life energy, and then guiding it into the earth through the hand attached to the ground. With the introduction of vitality, a small grass with strong vitality emerged from the ground. The tender and hopeful leaves trembled in the air, and the soil stuck on them was shaken down. Then, the grass grew up quickly, blossomed and dropped seeds. A gust of wind blew by, and the earth appeared with twinkling green stars. Vitality has reappeared on this planet enveloped in death and despair. As she watched the green carpet gradually extending from below, the woman couldn't help but smile. This smile was stunning, but a hint of blush flowed from her lips. Her skin has also become transparent, and subcutaneous blood vessels are clearly visible. Her body has reached its limit. It's just the woman looked at the vine ball that was already surrounded by zombies. The energy of the zombie king was too much, and with her fragile human body, it was impossible to fully transform the energy of the zombie king, but the woman felt her excessively strong spiritual power, so let's use this physical body as a spark to ignite this fire. The next second, the woman's body flew towards the group of zombies, and as she landed, it transformed into countless vines wrapping around the zombies. The vines grew more and more, and began to spread outwards, quickly enveloping the entire battlefield. The vines flexibly bypassed each soldier and wrapped around the zombies. The soldiers who were originally determined to die were stunned on the spot. What was going on? Before they could react, they were wrapped in vines and thrown towards the city wall. After the last person left the battlefield, all the vines wrapped around the zombies quickly shrunk, forming a huge vine ball with a diameter of 100 meters. The woman's spiritual body floated out of the vine ball, took a satisfied look, then glanced at the tall city wall, and resolutely threw herself into it. Shijia. Countless people cried out heart-wrenching. A strong light burst out from within the vine, and a green light like a mushroom cloud rose up from the sky, quickly covering the entire battlefield and spreading rapidly around the battlefield, enveloping the entire planet. Impossible, you're not. The zombies had no time to react and were instantly transformed into life energy that was absorbed by the earth. Green covers the earth, with blooming flowers, it is the color of hope. Cute new, seeking support. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Garbage Star Observation Record, 1, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Garbage Star Observation Record, 1, in the vast and boundless universe, there are countless beautiful stars that can be seen, as well as black holes of all sizes that cannot be seen. In a small black hole in the universe, a small light sphere is vigorously trembling, trying to break free from the constraints of the black hole. It doesn't know how long it has been struggling here, because time has no meaning for this universe. If it had not possessed the massive energy and powerful ability to travel through space, it would have been swallowed up long ago, but no amount of energy could resist the black hole's devouring. Just as it was about to give up in despair, a stream of light burst out from the black hole. Without considering the violation of the laws of the universe by this stream of light, the little light ball rushed towards it with all its energy. The stream of light that was being pounced on did not stop at all, carrying the uninvited little ball of light and rushing out of this small black hole, flying towards an unknown distance. Shijia. This is the manual. Record. Don't worry, it's fun. Come back. If you want to lie down, just lie down, and if you want to sleep, go to sleep. In a vast expanse of white space, a slender woman rubbed her forehead in pain, and intermittent sounds echoed in her ears. Ah! The woman moaned in pain. For a long time, the woman let go of her hand and looked at her hands in a daze. She was indeed called Shijia. But some chaotic memory fragments in her mind made her doubt her identity. She was very confident that she had not lost any of her memories. So whose is the memory that just emerged? Suddenly, Shijia seemed to sense something and looked around, but everything was white and there was nothing else. She tried to move forward a few steps without any obstruction. So, she followed that slight induction and walked forward. The white mist gradually turned gray, and as it moved forward, the color deepened. Shijia frowned lightly and was very unhappy with the gray-black mist. She looked towards the center of the black mist, and strangely, there was still a faint light shining there. Is this like a person? Shijia quickly stepped forward and waved her hands very naturally towards the black mist. As she waved her hands, a soft and pure white light emitted from her hands, and the black mist melted away like ice and snow when it met the white light. Without realizing when she had this ability, Shijia quickly reached out and hugged the little girl. Yes, this is a little girl who looks less than 1 meter tall, black, with dry and cracked skin. Her whole body has no flesh or two except for a swollen belly, which accurately explains what skin and bones are. Although she looked only 3 or 4 years old, Shijia could tell from her soul that she was already 10 years old. How could this be? Shijia felt a little moved in her heart. Even in the apocalypse, she had never seen a child so thin. Children on the blue ocean star are precious and the hope for humanity to continue. Although they may not achieve nutritional balance, it is guaranteed to have a full stomach. At this moment, the dark yet pale face moved, and the swollen eyes struggled to open a gap. A stunning face with its own holy light caught the eye, and Leah was startled. She blinked hard but did not disappear. Sister Goddess. Shijia smiled and said, "What's your name? How did it appear here?" As soon as she finished speaking, she was stunned. Just now, she knew why the little girl appeared here, and she had already died. Upon hearing this, a black mist emanated from Leah's body, and upon contact with Jia, it disappeared again. I don't know. Leah was a bit confused. She remembered picking up an abandoned energy block and was about to go back and tell Uncle Luo when she was pushed down by someone. Then, she felt so painful and cold. Did she finally die? Leah's already pale face turned a little whiter. Great, if you die, you don't have to go hungry. After a while, Leah smiled at Shijia, and this smile appeared on this seemingly ugly face, making Shijia feel very beautiful. Sister Goddess, my name is Leah. Then Leah happily shared her experience. It turns out that this world has entered the interstellar era, and the planet Leah is on is D413, which is a garbage star. It is said that it used to be a mining star, but after the mining was completed, it became a garbage star. However, the miners were not properly arranged. Both of Leia's parents were miners, but life was too difficult and they had already passed away. After her parents passed away, Leah struggled to survive with the help of her neighbors, uncles, and good friends. Today, while going out to pick up garbage, she was pushed down by the son of a local snake, hit a stone, and then died. As for what's outside the garbage star, Leah doesn't know. Do you have any wishes? After listening to Leah's story, Shijia blurted out and was surprised when she asked. Leah thought for a moment and shook her head. No, I'm already dead now. When I was alive, I used to want to make a lot of money and buy a ticket to leave Junk Star. Now I just hope that Uncle Luo and Brother Mondo can survive, and it would be great if they could leave Garbage Star, Leah smiled. At this moment, Shijia's heart was particularly soft, truly a pure-hearted child. Okay, then take a good rest here. Shijia gently placed Leah on the black round platform, waving her bare hands gently. The gray mist disappeared, and the pure black light enveloped Leah. Shijia took a final glance at this endless black space. Although the black had deepened, the pure black did not disgust her at all, but rather had a sense of familiarity. Is it her spiritual sea? Shijia turned around and left, her figure gradually enveloped in white mist and disappeared. Ding! Carbon-based life forms detected, meeting binding standards. Ding! Is it bound to the ****** system? Ding! Is it bound to the ***** system? X3 Ding! Carbon-based life has no response, default binding. X3 Ding! System binding is in progress. Binding successful. Shijia, who had just woken up from a coma, said. What kind of ghost is this? System. Where did this thing come from? Wait. Shijia struggled to turn over, ignoring the package on her forehead, her bleeding left eye, and multiple fatal wounds on her body. She spoke with difficulty, what kind of ghost are you? System. What kind of thing? Ding. System 1234 is serving you. May I ask if the host has any questions? The system happily said, great. The adult of this system has finally escaped from that damn black hole and even reported a golden thigh. And this golden thigh? The system secretly observed Shijia's current body, which was so terrible that even his worldly system couldn't bear to look directly at him. Well, it seems very easy to deceive. That's right. You must be fooled like this. No, please ask the host to collect more energy for him, so that he can return to the Time and Space Bureau in 1234. Come on. The system secretly inflates. Shijia didn't know there were so many scenes inside the system, so she frowned and asked again, System. Where did you come from? Leah's memory doesn't have such a thing as a system. She also firmly believed that Leah would not deceive her, after all, in her sea of spiritual power, everything is inviolable. Because the host has excellent qualifications and meets the talent selection criteria of the Time and Space Bureau, you stand out among countless creatures and are bound to the system. The system checked the talent recruitment script. He was a bit distressed, as there were too many system modules lost. It would be great if the beginner's guidance module were still there at this time. A new beginning, seeking support. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Garbage Star Observation Record, 2, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Garbage Star Observation Record, 2, Time and Space Bureau. Good guy, this Time and Space Bureau has also arrived, so this is a fast transit system. Although High launching is in the apocalypse, she is not constantly fighting. In her leisure time, she likes to read some online literature to pass the time. Time and space play a significant role in novels. Yes, the Space-Time Bureau is the most powerful organization in the universe, and the past and future of every planet cannot be separated from the planning of the Space-Time Bureau. The system vigorously praises the Space-Time Bureau. A brief summary. Time and space control the life and death of various planes in the universe. This Time and Space Bureau is also managed too much. Shijia felt a bit uncomfortable and couldn't help but think, was the end of the sea blue star caused by the temporal and spatial situation? How about Shijia's gaze at the system became sharp? Oh. Is that right? The Time and Space Bureau is so powerful. But if you want to bind me, do I have to agree? Shijia looked up and down at the system in front of her, a small light ball with a visual diameter of 4 centimeters, but the core was very small. With her strong spiritual perception, it was definitely less than 1 millimeter, or even less than 1 nanometer. The protective layer is quite thick. Shijia is not surprised, after all, from her reading history, most systems are relatively powerful, and only 1 or 2 are forced by the host. But before binding, I had already asked you 3 times. The system was a bit anxious, and the golden thighs in hand could never fly. It's quite intelligent, not like a system, maybe it's a smart life form. I didn't agree. His tone was calm. But you don't object, isn't it just default? If it's bound to this system, there's no need to unbind it. Shijia rolled her eyes, how could you make a comatose person object? She wasn't even in a hurry, and the system was still in a hurry. Are you really a system? Of course, this system is a system. The system angrily projected the certificate of another system in front of Shijia, proving its innocence. Shijia's mental strength swept over and firmly memorized this manual. It's not impossible for you to bind with me. First, let me know what system you are, what functions you have, and what are your task goals. This system is a fast penetration counterattack system. The system hesitated for a moment, what system is it? Glancing at myself, I only have the core and 2 modules left. The function is to shuttle through time and space, and collect energy. The goal is to assist in the development of the plane, the system said somewhat humbly. No more. Shijia always felt that there was something hidden in this system. No more. The system became even more nervous. What kind of online shopping mall, learning space, and communication forum do they have? In Shijia's impression, the system has these functions. What else is there to help with plane development? Why does she feel so guilty about this system? So, the system encountered a black hole while crossing space, and these modules were lost while resisting the black hole. The system couldn't help but cry, was it about to lose its golden thigh? So you're a broken system. Shijia felt that all his previous vigilance was in vain, realizing that this thing was a scumbag. Yes, but the host, as long as there is enough energy, I can fix the data and reload those modules. The system was so anxious that the whole group jumped up and down. I used to see her as a big enemy collecting energy. Shijia reached out speechlessly and grabbed the restless and swaying little light ball, his spiritual power invading, erasing the energy that had imprisoned him. It was really useless, and this energy wanted to imprison her soul. The system is trembling, so scary, big shot, help. However, you're quite interesting. Just follow me for now, maybe it'll be useful, said Shijia as she branded herself on the system. This imprint was studied by her in the apocalypse, initially primarily to control alien plants, but later developed into something that could be controlled by any conscious body. Finally saved my life. The system's emotions fluctuate too much, and the entire light sphere is flickering. Sensing the emotions of the system, Shijia was speechless and said, "Aren't you a system? How could you be so afraid of death?" The slowly recovering system was filled with arrogance. I am not one of those machines without intelligence. I have awakened my intelligence, but a true intelligent living organism. Machinery is very difficult to give birth to wisdom. There may be one in billions, and he is that one. No wonder there are so many scenes in this system. Okay, could you help me see what's happening in this place now? Shijia looked around. Surrounded by piles of steel, piled up garbage mountains, there is a strange smell in the air, as if it is a mixture of fresh blood, engine oil, and the smell of animal and plant decay and fermentation. It makes people unable to resist vomiting. The steel garbage around is like a cage, trapping people and seeing nothing except for a slightly gloomy sky above their heads. Shijia struggled to move and leaned against the iron block, barely sitting. After waiting for half a day, the system did not respond. System. How is the situation? The system stuttered. Host, you know I only have 2 modules left now. So, information collection requires a detection module. Aren't you a system? Isn't this the most basic function? Shijia was shocked. Don't tell her that this system is useless. Yes, but now we need a network interface. The system wanted to cry, and he didn't mean to. He also wanted to perform well in front of Golden Thighs, but his strength didn't allow it. What could he do? It's really useless. Shijia shook her head and said, it's better to rely on oneself than on others. She glanced at the system again, shook her head, and with a pull of her mental energy, she pulled the system into the sea of mental energy. Oh my goodness. The system was shocked. What thick thighs. Shut up. Shijia directly blocked the system and leaned out with his mental energy towards the center of the garbage mountain. There were many elevated layers in the surrounding garbage mountain, and many skinny people lived there. A little further away, it seems like a city. Hiss, a sharp pain came from the brain, and the body was too weak to support the spiritual thread to detect the distance too far. 500 meters is already the limit now. I forgot, I have changed my body now. After a long time, Shijia finally recovered. Let's repair our body first. Leah's body was already fatally injured, and she had just been manipulated by her spiritual power. If she doesn't repair it, not to mention tomorrow's sun, the moon tonight won't be visible. Spiritual energy peeked out from the center of the eyebrows, appearing more cautious this time compared to the previous roughness. First, carefully wrap your entire body around it, and then slowly communicate with the energy particles in the air. Shijia couldn't help but frown. The energy particles here were a bit too thin, and they were just as manic as the energy particles in the apocalypse. Mania is a small matter, but it's just too little. It seems difficult to convert this scarce energy into life energy. Leaving aside the fact that life energy is a higher level energy, it seems that the energy required for energy conversion alone is not enough. However, this is currently the only way. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Garbage Star Observation Record, 3, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Garbage Star Observation Record, 3, for Shijia, energy conversion was just a matter of ease. He quickly converted the energy that was floating within a radius of 500 meters into life energy, but the energy was too little. The converted energy can only repair fatal injuries on the body. Seeing that she could no longer absorb and convert energy, Shijia could only drag her body full of scars, following Leia's memory and making a difficult move towards her home. It is quite difficult to find a house in a pile of steel-filled garbage, especially when the appearance of the house is not yet a house. Shijia searched for a while and finally found Leia's home among a pile of old spaceships, which can now be considered her home. Her home is also an abandoned spaceship, which is inserted into the garbage dump at a 30-degree angle. Visually, this spaceship is only 3 stories tall, and its length and width cannot be estimated because one end was inserted into a garbage dump, while the other end facing the sky was cut off by something, with neat cuts and burning marks. There is a small door 2 meters away from the ground, which is easily recognizable as it was handmade. However, this door is 2 meters above the ground. How did little Leah get up there? Shijia looked around and found a ladder in a crevice, which immediately became clear. She struggled up the ladder and pushed the door open with difficulty. I was puzzled in my heart, how did Leah close this door when she came down so heavy? Shijia climbed into the room with doubts in mind, and a faint light caught his eye. The questions in my heart have answers. Leah, have you come back? A hoarse voice came, and a slender figure appeared in front of Shijia against the light. Shijia looked at it, her eyes finally adapting to the light and seeing the person in front of her clearly. This should be what Leah remembered. Uncle Luo. Hey, little girl, you went there. Why did you come back so late? Luo de quickly walked over, pulled up the ladder, and struggled to close the door. I picked up an energy block this morning and was pushed down and hit on the head by Monka. It should have been snatched away by him. What? Monka is stealing someone else's things again. A slightly immature voice came from Shijia, who turned his head to look at a little boy about 13 or 4 years old, who was Mondo. I'll talk to him. Mundo pulled out his iron rod and was about to open the door to find the venue. Shijia was shocked in her heart. Young man, are you too impulsive? Wait. Don't be impulsive, Mondo. Uncle Luo quickly stopped him, feeling tired. How did this child grow? I grew up under my own nose, how come I am so naive? This is not a character that garbage stars can cultivate at all. Monka is too much. Every day, he relies on Uncle Mengla's support to grab things everywhere. Mengduo put down his iron rod, but he didn't really want to trouble Monka. In recent years, he has suffered too much. I just don't feel angry in my heart. If my father were still here upon seeing this, Shijia thought to herself. Is Garbage Star really a simple child? Oh, seems to have overlooked something. What's the solution? Unless you can grow up on your own and gain control of Zone E, don't trouble yourself in front of Monka. Uncle Luo looked at Mondo with a heavy face, his eyes flickering. Well, there are no honest people either. Leah is indeed a child. Uncle Luo is right, we can go find him another day. Shijia's tone was eerie. Come and treat me, the wounded soldier. Leah. Mondo looked at Shijia and was about to pull her to vent a few more words, only to find that Leah was covered in injuries. Why is your injury so serious? Uncle Luo, let's quickly carry Leah into the room. After a period of chaos, Shijia was finally treated for her wound. However, as she looked at the wound, which was only a simple bandage and had not been treated with medicine, she was lost in thought. Can she survive tonight? With deep worries, Shijia fell asleep soundly. Leah, are you finally awake? Mondo came as usual to check on Shijia's condition, and as soon as he pushed the door, he found Shijia staring blankly with his eyes open. How long has it been? It should have been 1 day and 1 night. Shijia inexplicably thought of it. It's been a day and a night. You should be hungry, I'll go get you the nutrient solution. Mundo ran out happily and quickly ran back. It can be seen that he is really happy when Shijia wakes up. Thank you. Shijia took the nutrient solution, opened the bottle cap, and drank it all in one gulp. Tasty. But from Leah's memory, it was learned that the Garbage Star people all drink nutrient solution, even the leader of E District, Monla, drank nutrient solution. When did you become so polite, Leah? Why are you still so polite with me? Mondo said casually. You're not feeling well yet, why don't you rest at home for a few days? I'm going to the east to take a look. Yesterday, I heard from Shijia that there's new garbage coming over there. Today, let's go see if we can get some good things done. Okay, 1234, go find out if there are any network interfaces around you. If you don't find them, collect information on your own. If you don't come back. Shijia's mental strength hooked up and threw out the system that was secretly absorbing her energy. Hey. Energy. The system was thrown out of nowhere, wanting to argue, but when it saw Shijia's indifferent gaze, it instantly wilted. But, host, I don't have the energy. Okay, make sure it's done. With a whoosh, the little light ball disappeared. Oh my, the host is so scary. Humph. Do you really think she doesn't know what this little system has done in her mental sea? That's the place she absolutely controls. Do you really think that without her permission, the small system can absorb a little energy? Shijia glanced at Leah's room, which was very small, only 5 or 6 square meters. Inside, there was only a bed, a cabinet, a small table, and no chairs. It's dirty everywhere, with a strange smell. Shijia looked at the only window in the room, reached out and struggled to open it, then hurriedly closed it. Emma, it smells so bad. Shijia once again looked around the room and the world outside the window. Can humans really survive in this environment? She checked her body again. The injuries on my body have almost healed. Shijia was surprised and touched various injuries. She felt her spiritual power and found that there was an energy flow in her body following the energy conversion path of the day before yesterday. Life-type superpower. Shijia was surprised. Oh, upon closer observation, it was her spiritual power that solidified the energy flow path in her body. Well, does this mean that she can inspire people with abilities? The feasibility is very high. After all, ordinary people like Leah who are weak can awaken their abilities, and those with slightly better bodies are definitely not a problem. Forget it, it's not important. Now we need to think about how to leave the garbage star. Shijia lowered her head to look at the faint green light emanating from her fingertips, unsure if this vitality could continue in the interstellar world. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Garbage Star Observation Record. 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Garbage Star Observation Record. 4. With a special sense of life energy, Shijia traveled through garbage mountains one after another and finally saw the color of life thousands of kilometers away from home. Although there are still mountains of garbage in front of us, these mountains are covered with plants. Although Shijia didn't know many of these plants, they made her extremely excited. In Leah's memory, there was never any food other than nutrient solution, but how could a person not eat delicious food? Although the nutrition of nutrient solution is sufficient, drinking nutrient solution alone can lead to problems with human swallowing function, gastrointestinal function, and so on. This is not conducive to human development. So, there must be regular food, and as for why it hasn't been popularized, it's probably because the price is too high and garbage stars are not suitable for people to eat. If she could cultivate edible plants, not only could she enjoy delicious food, but she could also earn some money. Oh, now it's called star coin. Moreover, Shijia vaguely felt that this was the opportunity for her to leave garbage star. Dragging a blade of grass, Shijia effortlessly climbed up the garbage mountain, exploring her spiritual energy to feel the life energy on these plants and identifying the plants around her. After awakening her life form abilities, she specifically collected books on biology in agriculture. Although she only learned a little, she was still enough to recognize plants. This seems to be a dandelion. Shijia was surprised and pulled up a plant next to it that looked exactly like a dandelion. He looked closely and a foul smell came from his face. Nausea, she hurriedly threw the dandelion out, and Shijia couldn't help but shiver. With lingering fear, she looked at the dandelion that had been thrown 3 meters away. After thinking for a moment, he carefully picked it up and placed it 1 meter away. This is what a dandelion looks like. Look at these leaves, yellow flowers, and hairy seeds. Oh, does the edge of the lace seem a bit dark? Maybe it's a new variety. You can easily recognize this hairy ball-like seed. The next moment, Shijia widened her eyes and said, "What's going on?" The color on the back of the leaves turned out to be black and red, with small black and red veins protruding, like a spider web that bound the leaves. Its roots also appear black and red, and the stench of corruption is transmitted from this root. Shijia re-identified the characteristics of dandelions in her memory and said, "It's indeed dandelions, but the dandelion in front of her is definitely not edible. Not only can it not be eaten, but living around it for a long time may also be affected by the odor it emits. It seems that it is not possible to simply distinguish whether it is edible based on plant traits." Throwing the dandelion aside, Shijia turned her gaze to the green plants on the mountain. Unfortunately, just like the dandelion, all the familiar plants had turned into poisonous strains. As for those who are not familiar with it, it is even more strange. There are large black and red leaves covered with knots, and some roots and stems are filled with semi-transparent small fruits. Most of the small fruits are broken, it is unknown whether they were eaten by birds and insects or naturally cracked. But it is evident that there are no other plants growing within 1 meter of this plant as the center. "I'm so dizzy." Shijia felt like she might have been poisoned by inhaling too much toxic gas. Quickly activate your abilities to drive away the poisonous gas. Life energy flows through the body, and the organs invaded by toxins are quickly rejuvenated, making Shijia feel like he has come back to life. At the moment when the toxin was expelled, Shijia had a new idea. Since the toxins in the body could be expelled, could these plants that had become poisonous strains be expelled from the toxin? Shijia was startled by her own imagination. After all, in her understanding, whether a plant is toxic or not is determined by its plant genes, and no matter how incredible the ability is, it cannot reverse the genes. But she suddenly realized that dandelions themselves are non-toxic, not only non-toxic, but also have very high medicinal value. Since dandelion itself is non-toxic, is this poisonous dandelion just poisoned now? Since I am poisoned, can I get rid of it? The more Shijia thought about it, the more excited she became, and the more she thought about it, the more she felt it was feasible. Quickly taking action, she picked up the dandelion plant and its life energy enveloped it. This package undoubtedly reveals the chaotic and violent energy on the dandelion. It seems that we need to expel this energy first. Shijia frowned. Although the violent energy was not much, it spread throughout the entire plant. If you wanted to drive it away, you might not be able to keep this dandelion. Even so, we still need to give it a try. The use of energy is effortless for Shijia, and the control is also excellent, instantly driving away the violent energy. Just before Shijia could recognize the toxin situation, this dandelion plant turned into fly ash and slipped away from her fingertips. Although the expected situation had occurred, Shijia still felt a bit caught off guard, but she didn't hesitate and found a new dandelion plant to start the experiment. After multiple experiments, Shijia regretfully found that the violent energy cannot be removed, but it can be transformed into life energy. But after being converted into life energy, the toxin still cannot be expelled. However, what pleased Shijia was that the toxicity of the plants had decreased. Shijia has found the direction. If this toxin can also undergo energy conversion, can it solve the problem and cultivate a true dandelion tree? As soon as he thought of it, Shijia continued to use his powers to wrap the newly completed energy conversion dandelion, trying to convert toxins. It has been proven that as long as a method is found, energy can be converted between substances. For example, wood can be converted from overcombustion to heat energy, and food can be converted into the energy needed by the human body through the digestive system. However, an unexpected situation occurred. Shijia had just found a way, and the dandelion under his command went through its entire life in the blink of an eye. Shijia looked dumbfounded at the pile of seeds on the ground, silently took out a pocket, and put all the seeds inside. After all, they had undergone energy conversion. It seems that we can't give too much energy. The speed of birth is too fast. Pack up the seeds, it's already getting late. Shijia quickly took out a few more pockets and dug out more than 10 crops that he recognized today. Bang! Bang! Click, a few loud noises came from afar, and Shijia looked up cautiously in the direction of the sound. However, a higher garbage mountain blocked the view. Driven by curiosity, Shijia hastily tidied up the plants and curiously searched towards the place where the sound came from. After crossing several garbage mountains, Shijia was surprised to find a forest in front of him. 4 men and 2 women emerged from the forest in a disheveled state. Their clothes were tattered and all injured. Judging from their dark faces and dark lips, they were all poisoned. Shijia remembered that the forests on D413 were places that people would turn pale upon hearing of, because the forests were filled with toxins, and most of the people who entered had nowhere to go. So the people who go inside to explore will definitely not be garbage stars. And although these people are all disheveled, they don't look like garbage stars from their clothes. Should we start a conversation? Seems like it's also an opportunity. Who is it? The slightly injured man cast a wary gaze at Shijia. Encoding is not easy, please support. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Garbage Star Observation Record, 5, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Garbage Star Observation Record, 5, looking at the small and withered children in front of them, the 6 of them were all shocked and couldn't bear it. Although they had long known that the living conditions of Garbage Star were difficult, they still couldn't imagine it without seeing it with their own eyes. Shijia also silently looked at these few people. The 4 men were all very young, with a majestic appearance. Although they were all disheveled, their eyebrows were full of pride. The 2 girls also have their own beauty, one is beautiful and stunning, and the other is bright and generous. These few people seem to have not yet left campus. Does she have a chance to connect with them online? Child, where are your adults? Why are you the only one? The bright and generous girl squatted down and looked at Shijia with sympathy, guessing in her heart that the child was probably only 4 years old, and his family was also too kind-hearted. I usually come out on my own. Shijia blinked and looked at the girl, trying to disguise herself as a simple, weak, and harmless child. What Shijia didn't know was that in her current image, even without disguise, she was very pitiful and weak. This is too dangerous, you should go back quickly. The girl's desire for protection was rampant. It's okay, I'm used to it. Shijia shook her head and asked with a curious tone, Sister, did you just come out of the forest? With a hint of fear and admiration in his tone, Shengsheng vividly portrayed a garbage star child's fear of the forest and admiration for a few people. Yes, the forest is very dangerous, children cannot go in, the girl said seriously to Shijia. I know what Uncle Luo told me. Shijia nodded obediently and looked admiring, Sister, you are so amazing. You were able to enter the dangerous forest. If only I could go into the forest too. The girl frowned, this child is a bit difficult to handle. Children, you should go back now. The beautiful and stunning girl looked at Shijia seriously, her tone cold. Oh, okay. Shijia thought to herself, learning the trick that the children were constantly pestering. Where are the brothers and sisters going now? I'm very familiar with the E.zone, should I lead you? With a pure and hopeful gaze, Shijia never realized that her acting skills were so excellent. The 6 people who had already been ravaged by the garbage star road when they arrived hesitated. They didn't have a flying car or navigation, so it was indeed quite troublesome to cross this garbage mountain. And now it's almost dark, so I probably won't be able to walk much. The 6 of them hesitated for a moment, whispering for a while. Finally, the most handsome boy spoke up, All right, little one, take us to find your master and let him guide us. We will pay your master. It's really unreliable to let a child lead the way, and they can't do such a thing either. Okay. Stay calm for now, you can always come up with some interesting things. Well, before we reached the previous garbage mountain, Shijia exchanged names with a few people. Passing by the previous garbage mountain, Shijia didn't forget to carry the installed plants on his back. Xiao Lia, what are you digging up these poisonous plants for? Luo Xingyuan looked at Shijia in confusion. These plants are inedible and have no ornamental value, and excessive exposure can easily lead to poisoning. Upon hearing this, Shijia's eyes rolled and she said naively, I want to cultivate them into edible plants. The 6 of them were speechless upon hearing these words. They were indeed ignorant and fearless. Surprisingly, a little brat wanted to cultivate poisonous plants into edible food. This is probably the biggest joke they've heard this year. It should be noted that even the most advanced institution of interstellar agriculture, Interstellar Agricultural University, cannot easily improve plant genes. And generally no one wants to waste their time here. After all, there are so many edible plants in the interstellar space that there is no need to waste funds on poisonous plants. How do you want to cultivate poisonous plants into edible plants? Luo Xingyuan himself is a researcher in agriculture, and he is even more tolerant when facing an innocent and ignorant little girl. Because this way, I can eat green food, Shijia said naively, as if she could eat it right away. A few people looked at each other and shook their heads. Han Yun, the bright and beautiful girl who was the first to talk to Shijia, couldn't help but speak up, cultivating green plants is not that easy. I hope this naive little girl won't be too disappointed. I know, but I'm sure I can succeed, said Shijia with confidence. A few people can't bear to listen anymore, they can't stand someone being so foolish and arrogant. Even children cannot do it. Why are you so confident? Captain Fang Yunshan, the most outstanding looking boy, asked. I finally asked this, it's too difficult for me. I'll tell you, but you can't tell anyone. Shijia mysteriously extended her right hand, with a green light lingering around her fingertips. I have superpowers. Wood type ability. Their eyes widened instantly. This is my newly awakened ability today, I haven't told anyone yet. Shijia looked like I trusted you very much. A few people confirmed again that this was a naive and ignorant little girl. And she's a little girl who has had bad luck. The number of awakened interstellar powers is about 1 in a billion, and rare things are precious. As long as the power is awakened, one can obtain the residency status of a first-level administrative star, official financial subsidies, and admission to universities will also be reduced. Anyway, as long as our thoughts don't drag us down, we basically have no worries about food and clothing. Of course, with such good treatment, there must be conditions. Generally, after reaching adulthood, if a psychic does not achieve the corresponding achievements, they will be forcibly arranged to enter the laboratory. So, although supernatural beings are rare, interstellar beings are not particularly rare. But for people living on garbage stars, it's a huge pie. Okay, we won't tell anyone else, so don't tell anyone else yet. The awakened power is precious, and if others find out, they may catch you. Fang Yunshan was the first to react. There is some concern in my heart about this innocent little girl. No wonder you're so confident. Han Yun reached out and touched Shijia's head, feeling her sticky hair. He shyly withdrew his hand, shook it, glanced at the dirty clothes on his body, and put his hand up to wipe them. Much better. The few people who witnessed all of this twitched at the corners of their mouths, and the person involved, Shijia, rolled her eyes silently. She didn't want to be so messy. The woody ability does indeed contribute to the improvement and evolution of plants. Luo Xingyuan looked forward to the little girl cultivating edible plants. They don't have any wood-type superpowers in their farm, but there is one earth-type superpower. Plants cultivated by earth-type supernatural beings have advantages in many aspects. If the wood-type ability enters their school, the research in the agricultural college will definitely advance by leaps and bounds. Thinking of this, Luo Yuanqing's gaze towards Shijia became even hotter. Shijia shuddered, feeling a bit regretful for exposing her abilities and how to break them. Of course, this idea just flashed by. It's really difficult for her, a garbage star child, to leave the garbage star. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Garbage Star Observation Record, 6, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Garbage Star Observation Record, 6, the way back is not too far, but the roads are crisscrossing, narrow and winding, and it took a lot of time to get back to Leia's house. Brothers and sisters, please wait below for a moment. I'll go up and call Uncle Luo. Shijia finished speaking, took off the poisonous plant on his back, placed it in the place where he usually hides the ladder, and skillfully climbed up the ladder. The 6 of them were curious about Shijia's smooth and flowing operations. When they saw Shijia climb into the abandoned spaceship, they all tiptoed to look, but inside it was pitch black and they couldn't see anything. Is this living in a garbage dump? Fang Yunheng, Fang Yunshan's cousin and also the main combat force in the team, spoke up. After all, this is a garbage star, Fang Yunshan said in a plain tone. But Fang Yunshan shook his head, indicating that this was not the place for discussion. But the central area of this planet is not like this at this moment. The voice came from the small door above. Are you the big brother and big sister that Leia said so badly? As soon as Luo Da's figure appeared at the door, his gaze met several people. Hello, we are students from Xinglian Military University. My name is Fang Yunshan. I believe you are what Leia called Uncle Luo. Fang Yunshan silently looked at the person in front of him. Although his clothes were shabby, he was relatively neat, his body was thin, but his spirit was good. His gaze at them was calm, but with a hint of scrutiny. He should be a person with considerable calculation. Yes, you want me to lead the way out of the garbage area. Luo Da had already gotten off the cabin, and Shijia followed closely behind. Yes, we will give you a reward then, Fang Yunshan nodded. After hearing this, Luo Da looked embarrassed and said, I'm really sorry, Leia is still young and doesn't know that garbage star poses a lot of danger at night. If you're willing, stay here for the night first, and I'll take you away early tomorrow morning. Huh? Shijia was surprised, was it dangerous at night? Okay, she hasn't been here for a few days and she's not sure about the situation yet. Is this a poisonous beast tonight? A few people stayed in the wilderness for a few days, feeling the madness of the poisonous beast at night, but was there also a poisonous beast in the wilderness in this garbage dump? Thinking of this, several people couldn't help but look around. Yes, it seems that these people have already understood the terrifying nature of toxins. Although there are no large toxins in the garbage area, the mutated rat ants are very difficult to deal with. Luo nodded. These people were able to survive from the forest, and their skills and wealth were definitely within reach. If this business can be done, then their living expenses for this month can be considered to have some savings. Damn it, Monra is getting too much. And I see that a few of you have been injured. Why don't you stay and rest for a night, treat your wounds, and rest up? I'll take you out early tomorrow morning. Yeah, brother and sister, why don't you take a night off first? I also want to take you out tomorrow. Oh, isn't that just right? A few people looked at each other and whispered a few words before agreeing. After Luo Da forcefully drove Shijia back to the house, he led the 6 people to another vacant cabin. This is where I usually work, so you can make do with it tonight. There's some clean water there, not much, you can make do with it. Luo pointed to the nearby water tank. After explaining a few more words, he turned around and left. After Luo Da left, several people carefully surveyed the entire room. The space is quite large, nearly 100 square meters, with an open space in the middle and various materials arranged around it. There is a super large workbench on the right side, and from those tools, it can be seen that this is probably a mechanic's workshop. A mechanic should have a decent income, how can he live in a garbage dump? Luo Xingyuan comes from a big family and has never been troubled by money. Uncle Luo is not easy, said Chen Yuexing, a scout in the team. These materials alone can buy a decent shop on a second-class planet. Even if this is a dismantled material, it is very valuable. I don't know what his purpose is. What his purpose is, it has nothing to do with us. Shi Qingqing frowned and took out the air purifier from the space buckle, then took out his own tent. She needs to rest well now. Others are not talking too much when they see the situation. On the other hand, Luo De also went back full of worries. As soon as I got home, I saw Shijia playing with poisonous plants. Leah, what are you doing? Who asked you to bring back these poisonous plants? Hurry up and throw them away. Luo De was furious in his heart. The child had become less obedient since waking up from injury, running out with a tube of nutrient solution at dawn every day and only returning after dark. It's not a big deal, the key is that nothing has been picked up. If nothing can be picked up, it's okay. I'm still bringing back the poisonous plants. I am becoming increasingly immature. Uncle Luo, I don't think the air at home is very good, so I found some nice green plants to decorate and freshen the air. Shijia looked at Luo and was about to snatch the poisonous plants from her hand, quickly avoiding them. Uncle, be careful, its roots are poisonous and cannot be touched. Since you know it's poisonous, why don't you throw it away? Said Rodatin angrily, as long as it doesn't touch its root, it's fine. It doesn't affect anything else and can provide fresh air. Shijia looked at Luo De seriously and didn't plan to tell him about his abilities for the time being. Although we have been together for a few days, Luo De not only did not gain the trust of Shijia, but also made Shijia suspicious. Firstly, Luo De dresses better than Leah. Although he looks equally thin, his physical health is much better than Leah's. Secondly, Luo De is still a mechanic, and a mechanic actually lives in a garbage mountain. I feel suspicious no matter how I think. So Shijia was very suspicious of Luo De's eyes. As for why Luo De saw her manipulating poisonous plants, it was already mentioned above. This room is too smelly. Luo De frowned and wanted Shijia to throw away the poisonous plant. Shijia saw his expression and quickly ran into the room holding poison plant. Luo De looked displeased as Shijia left behind. The child was really difficult to discipline now. But he didn't insist on letting Shijia throw away the poisonous plant anymore. Shortly after Shijia returned to the room, the system that had disappeared for several days finally returned. Ah! Finally back. It seems you stole a lot of energy outside. Shijia reached out and pinched the small system, feeling that his energy density had increased significantly. Oh my, host, let go. The energy is about to dissipate. System 1234 begged for mercy, and two small tentacles extended on both sides of the small ball hugged Shijia's fingers, crying. I ate a lot, even had energy tentacles. Shijia let go of her hand and let the little system hold her fingers, unable to resist shaking them. Well, it doesn't have much weight, negative review. Alright, tell me what information you've collected outside. Okay, host. Although this system is quite useless, fortunately it hasn't been completely disabled. There are still functions such as collecting information and transmitting information. After reading the information collected by the system, Shijia had a certain understanding of this interstellar world. However, didn't you pick up a communication bracelet? Where is it? Seeing Shijia receiving the massive information expressionlessly, the system immediately contributed the hidden communication bracelet. Woo-woo, haven't I locked all this memory? Seeking support. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Garbage Star Observation Record, 7, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Garbage Star Observation Record, 7, the next morning, Shijia followed Luo De to find Fang Yunshan and a few others. Along the way, Shijia struggled to get close to Han Yun, a beautiful woman with short legs and long legs. Several people couldn't help but laugh. The straightforward Fang Yunheng curiously asked, "Child, why do you always get close to Han Yun?" "Because I like Sister Han Yun," Shijia smiled happily and turned into an innocent and lovely little girl. Mainly, among these people, Han Yun has the best impression of her and is the easiest to use as. Upon hearing this, none of them said anything more, but they had only met the child the next day and had not yet become familiar enough to tease each other. It was Luoda who looked at Shijia somewhat differently, but didn't say anything. It was not surprising that the child from Garbage Star could grow into anything. "Really, you like me so much?" Han Yun heard this and wanted to reach out and pinch Shijia's nose. As soon as he lifted his hand, he remembered the sticky feeling from yesterday and awkwardly put it down. Seeing this, Shijia said dejectedly, "I'm sorry, Sister Han Yun. I'm too dirty on my body. When I make money, I'll definitely wash it clean. You can touch my head then." She looked at Han Yun very seriously, and in that moment, he felt guilty and hurt a kind little girl. "Sorry, it's my fault," Han Yun said as he wanted to reach out and touch Shijia's head. But Shijia flexibly avoided it. Han Yun could only reluctantly withdraw his hand. "There's no need to apologize," Shijia said seriously. "However, can Sister add me as a communication friend?" "Sure, but do you have a communication bracelet?" Han Yun asked in confusion. Although everyone has a communication account from birth, Junk Star people should not be able to afford a communication bracelet. I found it." Shijia took out the bracelet that the system had picked up yesterday from her arms. Last night, she had the system clear the data and rebind Leah's communication account. This communication bracelet is the most common model, similar to a watch. Although the model is low-grade, its appearance is very beautiful, with a silver-white body and a crystal dial. When the screen is locked, it is similar to the screen of an electronic watch, but more beautiful. The watch chain is also exquisitely crafted, making it perfect for attending high-end banquets. "Okay, let's add friends." Han Yun reached out his left hand and wore a black and gold wristband with a black background. The entire wristband was wrapped in gold thread, creating a beautiful feeling. The most important thing is that the entire bracelet has no screen. She put her hand on the communication bracelet in Shijia's hand and there was a ding sound from Shijia's bracelet, indicating that the friend had been successfully added. "Alright, you can send me messages and chat with me in the future." "Well, I will send a message to my sister." Shijia was very happy and the first step of the plan was successful. "I'll also add you as a communication friend," Luo Xingyuan, who was walking next to the two, suddenly spoke up. "Well, a wood-type superpower, a farmer student reserve." "Ah." Shijia blinked. "Is this buy one get one free? Open your communication bracelet, my friend application has been sent." Luo Xingyuan pointed to Shijia's bracelet. Shijia lifted the lock screen in confusion, and a light screen the size of an A4 paper was projected in front of her. The top notification is the friend application of Luo Xingyuan. She issued a notice full of doubts and approved the application. "I'm curious how he sent you the friend application." Han Yun knew her confusion from her expression. Shijia nodded. "You can add it by searching for nearby communication accounts. As long as the account level is lower than yours and there is no encryption, you can send it." Han Yun explained. This is actually common sense, but garbage stars probably don't know. So it is. Shijia suddenly realized that it was a common sense problem. Shijia looked at the front few people and opened the page for searching for communication accounts. She found that there were actually 3 accounts on it, 2 of which were just 2 friends added. Another one was a string of garbled characters. Shijia's gaze fell on Luoda. I don't know if Luoda intentionally led them to a remote place. Along the way, they didn't encounter many people. If it weren't for the location indicating that they were getting closer to the city, they would have thought there was a tough battle going on today. After more than 2 hours of walking, the group finally arrived at the urban area. "Thank you, Uncle Luo, for leading the way. I'll transfer the star coins to you now." Fang Yunshan reached out and showed the communication bracelet, and Luo De also took out the bracelet from his pocket. 2 bracelets lightly touched, and the transfer was completed. After saying goodbye, Luo De looked at Shijia and said, "Lia, I need to go buy something and it's not convenient to take you with me. You can wait here for a while, or you can go back first." "Okay, I'll just take a stroll and go back. Uncle Luo doesn't need to worry about me." It has to be said that the garbage star person treats children too seriously, not even thinking about how dangerous it is. But who makes the lives of garbage stars worthless, and besides, they are not their own children. "Okay," Luo nodded. "Don't wander for too long. Being alone is very dangerous. When you go back, try to go back the same way as possible. That road is slightly safer." "Okay, I will." After bidding farewell to Uncle Luo again, Shijia walked around the city for a while and found an entrance to enter the city. The outer city area of Garbage Star also looks very backward, just like some dirty and messy small towns in Shijia's memory, and even more dilapidated due to the worse environment and resources. The inner city area, on the other hand, is vastly different from this scene. According to the pictures collected in 1234, it is similar to a modern metropolis. However, the area is very small, just the size of an ordinary small town, less than 1/20th of the size of the outer city. 1234, let's see where we can buy and sell plants nearby. There are so few shops, and they are all very old. There are not many products, and they are not very popular. Oh, this family has a lot. Oh, it turns out they sell nutritional liquids. It's Uncle Luo. It turns out he's here to buy nutritional supplements. Shijia saw Luo, who was squeezed among the crowd of shoppers, and said, "It seems like her food supply hasn't been resolved yet." Due to the continuous operation of life powers, Shijia did not feel hungry, but life energy cannot replace food. So from today on, she will also worry about her livelihood. Suddenly, she realized that Lia's daily nutrient solution was given by Luoda, and she didn't save any of it herself. In Lia's memory, the nutrient solution can only be obtained from the district chief or purchased from the city center. Unlike the garbage star in memory where expired nutrient solutions can be found from the garbage dump, this garbage star only piles up construction waste, abandoned spacecraft, mecha robots, and other battlefield waste. So it's impossible for her to pick up garbage and make a living now. Shijia felt a bit melancholy and didn't have anything to eat. She could hold on for at most 5 days, hoping to cultivate the crops within that time. At this point, the system's probing results have been released. Host, there are no shops selling plants in the outer city area, while there are 2 in the inner city area. However, the host currently does not have the qualification to enter the inner city area. Don't worry, let's go back first. At this point, Shijia no longer had any curiosity about the urban area, so hurry back and cultivate the crops. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Garbage Star Observation Record, 8, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Garbage Star Observation Record, 8, the sparkling green light danced in mid-air like a butterfly, and wherever it passed, the brown soil turned into a green carpet. Small seedlings emerged from the green carpet one by one, either growing into tender and delicious dandelions, or bearing sweet and delicious red fruits. A pair of thin and small hands quickly picked them off. So fragrant, she said and stuffed the red fruit into her mouth. So sweet. A fruit as big as an adult's fist was swallowed by a child in just a few bites. Host, you haven't tested these crops yet. The system silently reminds you. Well, it's already non-toxic. I'll get another test report later. Shijia picked up another tomato and started eating it. Her ability can sense whether the plant is poisonous or not. Delicious. It's not in vain for her to exhaust her abilities to cultivate it. Host, this system is worried about you. 1234, have you found the buyer you asked for? The system, which was struggling, couldn't help but hesitate upon hearing this. Hurry up and send the candidate buyers he found in the Garbage Star Dark Network to Shijia. You can first contact them and send these crop pictures and testing reports to see who is more reliable. After eating 3 large tomatoes, Shijia was also full, and her whole body was warm and comfortable. Ah! Feeling the abnormal energy flow in her body, Shijia looked surprised at the tomato at hand. These tomatoes actually contain a lot of life energy. Do they also have the function of accelerating energy circulation? Although these were all created by her life powers, she also used a drop of energy to create them. I really made a lot of money. In addition to conducting toxicity testing later, let's also do nutrient content testing and special energy testing. Shijia set aside the harvested crops and let the system work, continuing to plow the land on her own. This piece of land, with an area of less than 10 square meters and a thickness of nearly 1 meter, was finally purified by her. It was only after purifying this land that she realized why all the crops she knew had turned into poisonous plants. The soil on this planet was actually poisonous, and it was these plants that evolved cells to accommodate toxicity in order to survive. Let Shijia both marvel at the tenacity of these plant life forms and be happy that cultivating crops has become easier. Quickly so, unleash abilities, crops grow rapidly, harvest. For several consecutive rounds, until Shijia feels tired before stopping. Host, I will do everything you have instructed me to do well. Little light ball flew joyfully in front of Jia. Not bad. Shijia reached out and bounced the light ball. This little thing has indeed performed very well these days. Turning his gaze to the vegetables piled up in a small mountain, he casually said, 1234, has your storage space been restored? Host, I only have 2 modules left now. The little light ball froze as it swayed happily. Shijia stiffened at the words and said, don't tell me, after absorbing so much energy, nothing has recovered. She reached out and pinched the small light ball that was shaking non-stop, causing it to tremble. AI's voice came from the small light sphere. To restore the system module, you need to reconnect to the main system and download from it. Finally, the voice became lifeless. Shijia sat up with a loud bang, are you lying to me? His tone was dangerous. No, the system dare not deceive the host. Little Lightball shook his head desperately. You said that absorbing energy can restore system function. Shijia now understood that he had been fooled by the small system. At that time, the small system did not specify how much energy was absorbed or how to recover. Yes. Little Lightball said he wasn't lying. Shijia shook her head and threw the small light ball onto the vegetable pile in dissatisfaction. She spoke angrily, then you can think of a way to transport these vegetables back. There's no space, so many vegetables. How should she transport a child who looks like she's only 4 years old? How do I get it for sale in the urban area? With so many vegetables, wouldn't you end up dying on the road? I miss her so much. Yes, in the apocalypse, she had space. I don't know how big the space was, and her spiritual power couldn't penetrate it, but no matter how much she put in, she could still hold it. She also didn't know where this space came from, neither was it a spatial ability, nor did she have any shattered ancestral jade pendant on her body. She only knew that on the day of the apocalypse, she had space. Thinking of this, Shijia still persisted in using his spiritual strength to explore his entire body, but still did not find anything. She has a feeling that the space must be hers, but for some reason it cannot be opened. After pondering silently for a while, Shijia looked at the system again and said, Did you think of a solution? Host, why don't we ask for help? The system is cautious. Alright, come back. Sure enough, you can't rely on this little thing. Shijia took out the communication bracelet, found Uncle Luo, indicated his identity and intention, and sent over the location and pictures of the vegetables in the area. Wait. Perhaps the temptation of edible plants was too great, and in less than half an hour, Luo pulled a small trailer over. Before Shijia could say hello, Luo urgently said, "Is this really an edible plant?" "Well, haven't we all sent you the test reports?" Shijia nodded. Luo remained silent, his eyes fixed on the vegetables like a small mountain, his expression changing inexplicably. "First, take these vegetables. Transport them back." When he looked at them, Jia added, "We can discuss other matters when we go back." Shijia nodded and the two quickly put the vegetables on the cart. Compared to Shijia's nimble and somewhat rough movements, Luo appeared cautious. Watching Shijia's movements, Uncle Luo couldn't help but speak up, "Be careful, it's going to crush you. You can rest next to it, I'll let it go." After speaking, he gave Shijia a push, which was completely different from the lightness when holding vegetables. Shijia was pushed aside, feeling a bit speechless, while also feeling the eagerness of the garbage star people for edible plants. Sure enough, food is paramount to the people, and this truth applies no matter where. Since someone is manipulating those vegetables, she should take the opportunity to cultivate the land and create a barrier to prevent it from being polluted again. Inging green light flew out of the fingertips, quickly enveloping the entire land, and then spiritual power covered the green light, which rippled like water. If there are people with mental strength exceeding level 5, they can find that these green lights are moving according to a certain pattern. Uncle Luo, who carefully organized the vegetables on the side, immediately noticed Shijia's movements and was deeply shocked. What a powerful ability and spiritual power! When did she awaken her powers? No, newly awakened abilities cannot reach this intensity. He had also seen psychics use their abilities before, and he himself was a second-level psychic developer. Although his mental seat is injured now, his eyesight is still there. Watching Shijia's gaze also became profound, with a hint of fear. Seeking support. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Garbage Star Observation Record, 9, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Garbage Star Observation Record, 9, along the way, they carefully avoided people and went through several twists and turns. After spending several hours, the two finally returned to Uncle Luo's secret base. After discussion, the two agreed that the house they usually live in was not safe, so they finally decided to come to this secret base. This base is located near the outskirts of the Garbage Mountain and is also an abandoned spacecraft. The interior is very empty, with a lot of ropes and buckles up, down, left, and right, which seems to be a transport spacecraft. Luo cautiously closed the door and urgently lifted the covering cloth on the small cart. So fragrant. Luo couldn't help but close his eyes intoxicated and sigh as he smelled the fresh aroma of vegetables. You can try a tomato, it's the red fruit, Shijia said. Tomatoes can be eaten raw, and the taste is very good. Luo opened his eyes and coincidentally met Shijia's, "Can I?" His tone was expected with a hint of humility. Eat whatever you want." Shijia nodded. Upon hearing this, Luo turned his head to look at the tomato in the car and carefully picked up one. It was called a tomato fruit, quite large, as big as his hand, very full. Through holding the thin skin, it seemed that the flesh inside could be seen. Carefully bring the fruit close to your mouth, with a big mouth. Your teeth touch the skin of the fruit, making it slippery. With a strong bite, the juice splashes profusely. Uncle Luo was a bit flustered by the splashing juice, trying to grow his mouth to catch it. So sweet. It's a bit sour and sweet, very delicious. Luo can swear that he has never eaten such delicious fruits in his life, and there is no regret in his life to be able to eat such delicious fruits. Seeing the expression on Luo Da's face, Shijia could understand very well. It was like this when they were once out of food in the apocalypse. Moreover, in this garbage star with only nutrient solution. Luo Da ate several tomatoes in a row before looking at the small green vegetables next to him without hesitation. Shijia noticed his gaze and said, "This dish is called dandelion and cannot be eaten raw. It needs to be cooked." After thinking for a moment, she said, "If there are no conditions, it can also be eaten raw, but it is not delicious and not conducive to good health." Ah! Luo Da looked puzzled. Didn't he say there was no poison? Yes, it's not toxic, but there are some substances that are not conducive to human absorption. Shijia frowned and thought for a moment. Cultural differences are too difficult to explain. Then, she thought of the living environment of this garbage star and the unpleasant nutritional solution, and added, however, given the current physical condition of humans, eating it is not a problem. Let me try it. Luo Da picked up a dandelion, shook off the soil, looked up and down, and then put it down and took a bite. Bitter, with a subtle sweetness and a strong strange taste, what is it? Luo Da has not had any contact, so it cannot be described. It's really not delicious. Despite not being delicious, Luo Da still ate all of this dandelion. How about it? It's not delicious, right? Shijia spoke, not having any thoughts about Luo dashing swallowing dandelions. The bark of the last generation people also eats it, so it's not surprising. Well, it's not delicious, Luo nodded. If we sell it, it might not be easy. After cooking, the taste is still very good, said Shijia, not knowing how people here cook. However, even if they don't know how to cook, they should know how to boil it in hot water. It's also delicious to dip it in soy sauce after boiling. Shijia is a bit uncertain. Cooking. I haven't heard of this word for a long time. How many years? Well, it seems like 10 years ago. Back then, he also ate food cooked by chefs. Well, sell it to people from the inner city. I have a recipe here. You can let them try it out first, and I think they should be able to sell it for a higher price. Shijia's biggest concern is still this, and her most important thing when growing vegetables is to make money. Thinking of this, he looked at Luo Da and said, "Uncle Luo, I have a few candidate buyers here. I'll leave the task of selling vegetables to you." Luo nodded. He was indeed the most suitable person. "But, I reckon it won't be sold a few times, and your identity will soon be exposed. It's impossible for so many edible plants to suddenly appear unnoticed." "I know we can't stay on the garbage star forever," Shijia nodded. "You're leaving." "It's not that easy," Luo said. "It's possible to get a spaceship ticket, but it's not as easy to get residency on other planets. If obtained through formal channels, Shijia, as a superpower, can qualify, but in the future, he will definitely be subject to official constraints. And he and Mondo are difficult to obtain unless they have huge assets. But if they have so many assets, they can also easily buy qualifications from the dark web. So make more money first." Shijia has already asked the system to send her planting process and vegetable testing reports to Luo Xingyuan. Based on Luo Xingyuan's previous eagerness for wooden abilities, it is highly likely that he will be specially recruited. At that time, he can propose to let Uncle Luo follow in case miners need guardianship. In addition, vegetables with special functions should also be able to give StarCraft Agricultural University an extra spot for her. Shijia was planning somewhat presumptuously. Luo Da was worried and felt that this decision would definitely bring them a lot of crises, but he had lived on the garbage star for long enough. With the decision made, the two of them acted quickly, conducting inspections, communication, planting. In an orderly manner. And the message sent by the system finally received a response. With years of experience in surviving on the garbage star, Luo Da stabilized himself and successfully made a transaction, obtaining his largest star coin since living on the garbage star. He was extremely excited, as long as he made 5 more trades, he would have the qualification to reside on a 3rd-level planet. When Luo Dajing was excited, the investigation into them was also in full swing. In the central area of Garbage Star, the sun is shining brightly at this moment, and a faint fragrance can be heard in the air. Several beautiful butterflies are fluttering their wings along this fresh fragrance and flying to a huge glass room. Inside the glass room, there are layers of green plants growing, adorned with flowers of various colors, highlighting the lush greenery of the room, something called vitality. Amidst the lush greenery of the room, a tall and thin middle-aged man was carefully watering a delicate showerhead. Compared to the vibrant emerald green, middle-aged people appear thin, with lingering melancholy between their eyebrows. At this moment, the butterfly, full of nectar, fluttered its wings with great courage and landed on the hand of the middle-aged man holding the showerhead. The middle-aged man stopped his movements and gently raised his hand, smiling and saying, "Go, free little one." The butterfly seemed to understand the words of the middle-aged man, flapping its wings and flying again, reaching the highest flower. The middle-aged man looked for a while and was ready to continue watering when the sound of footsteps came in. A burly man broke in despite being stopped by his bodyguard and said, "Sir, I have something important to report." End of this chapter.